Once upon a time, there was a young man named Takumi who had a great desire to become a Zen master. He had read many books on Zen and had attended countless lectures, but he still felt like he was missing something. One day, he decided to seek out a famous Zen master who was known for his wisdom and enlightenment. When he arrived at the master's temple, he was greeted warmly and invited to stay and study with the master. Takumi was thrilled to be learning from such a renowned master, but he soon found that the teachings were not as easy to grasp as he had hoped. He struggled with meditation, couldn't understand the koans, and felt like he was failing at every turn. Feeling discouraged and disheartened, he went to the master and said, "Master, I feel like I am not making any progress. I am failing at everything and I don't know what to do." The master looked at Takumi with compassion and said, "My dear student, failure is not the end, but a necessary part of the journey. Embrace your failures and learn from them, for they are what make you stronger and wiser." Takumi was not convinced. He had always been a perfectionist and couldn't stand the idea of failing, but the master was patient and continued to teach him. One day, the master took Takumi to a nearby bamboo forest. "Look at the bamboo trees," he said. "Are they perfectly straight, or do they have bends and curves?" Takumi looked at the bamboo trees and said, "Master, they are perfectly straight." The master shook his head and said, "No, my dear student. Look again. The bamboo trees are not perfectly straight. They have bends and curves, but they still grow tall and strong." Takumi looked again and realized that the master was right. The bamboo trees were not perfectly straight, but they were still beautiful and strong. The master continued, "Just like the bamboo trees, you may not be perfect, but you are still growing and learning. Failure is not something to be ashamed of, but something to be embraced and learned from. It is what makes you stronger and wiser." Takumi started to see things differently. He began to approach his studies with a new perspective and started to see his failures as opportunities to learn and grow. He stopped being so hard on himself and started to embrace his mistakes. Over time, Takumi became a great Zen master himself. People would come from far and wide to seek his wisdom and guidance, and whenever someone would come to him feeling discouraged and disheartened, he would take them to the bamboo forest and tell them the story of the bamboo trees. The lesson of this story is that failure is not something to be feared or ashamed of, but a necessary part of growth and learning. By embracing our failures and learning from them, we can become stronger, wiser, and more resilient.